Alright, you guys, this is going to be something a little bit different. I am going through a little bit of an emotional purge today, feeling some grief come up. You might be feeling this as well. So I'm going to do a reading. I'm recording it. I'm doing it for myself because when I do readings, it's very helpful to me to continue to access deep within myself, to connect with God's source and see things from new perspectives that I might not have considered before, to have compassion for myself, or to learn things or see things that I might not have consciously been aware of. So I'm experiencing a little bit of a grief purge today. Going back to the summer of 2020. This is going to be really emotional for me. Okay, let's do this. This is my dog, Riley. He was my absolute best friend. If you've been on the channel with me for a long time, you might have actually even seen him. He was more than a dog, as animals can be. He was my best friend. He was my saving grace. He was the presence, the stable presence that was in my life for 14 years. He got me through the worst situations of my life. He brought me out of darkness. He was there on the worst night of my life. He was there through the best of my life. He was just such a beautiful, sweet spirit. I called him my grumpy dog because he could be very grumpy as well, but he was such a beautiful, sweet spirit. And when he passed, I allowed myself to grieve, but I also in many ways suppressed that grief until this year, when I allowed myself to step back and heal from some trauma I had experienced along my journey. And allowed myself to fully focus on myself and not have to take care of anybody else, but to fully focus on myself and to heal within myself and to find my way back to myself where I had gotten a little bit lost. And I would not be where I am without this past year. I'm very grateful for this journey as a whole. This journey has been a wide range of taking me home to myself in many different ways. And especially the past 6 months, I have found my way back to myself. And part of that has been allowing myself to release some old energy and to release some old grief and to release some old pain that I didn't give myself the chance to fully process because I was holding space for other people, because I was taking care of other people, because I was just trying to suppress my emotions so that I could just be what other people wanted me to be. I always talk about how we are more than what we think that we are. We're a full spectrum, and especially if you're a divine feminine energy, you're a full spectrum of emotion. And for me, I had to allow myself to recognize that and feel that. I have rediscovered my joy again over the course of this journey. The past 5 years, I've rediscovered joy again. I've rediscovered my inner child, rediscovered innocence. And that's where I feel so grateful for the journey. But I've also had to allow myself to understand that when I do feel grief, it's not anything to be critical about or self-critical about. It's a natural course of life. And if you're experiencing anything difficult, it's not to sink into that lower density or lower vibrational energy, but to allow the emotion to flow through you and move out of you rather than repressing it, rather than suppressing it. So over the course of this past year, especially, I really took the time to go back to the basics for myself, and really put the focus on myself. And, some people could call it selfish, but I call that necessary. And I feel as if the only selfish thing is to be self-sacrificing. That I feel is the selfish course of action. So I'm going to do a little bit of a reading and just kind of tune in and see what is my baby boy, what does he want to say? what do we need to know right now? If you're moving through heavy emotions, if you're moving through healing, if you're moving through grief, now this isn't persistent. It's just, it comes in waves. Grief comes in waves. It's not necessarily time that heals wounds. It's that healing heals wounds. And healing is a process, and it comes in waves. And so this kind of took me off guard because I wasn't thinking about him, but all of a sudden Riley's energy came through, and he's definitely showing me more love and more compassion for myself, and reminding me, I'm just hearing that I'm good enough and I've always been good enough. Jesus, I don't know if I should be doing this today. This is so emotional. Okay. I'm just hearing him say, you were the best mom. And he was the best boy. And look what's coming out, the dog spirit. Be loyal to what you love. Time to let go and believe in yourself. Okay. The dog spirit is one that is that loyalty. Obviously, dogs are extremely loyal, but they're also extremely present. And they have an ability to bring us back to ourselves, to show us what is real, to show us what is true, to show us what is important, to show us what matters. And what matters is believing in ourselves. Dogs love us so fiercely, so beautifully, so protectively. You are their entire world. I was watching a long time ago, it's like a Pixar movie or something like that, like one of those short films. I don't know if it was necessarily Pixar, but it was like a cartoon, one of those short films. And it was where, you could see the dog's point of view. Like, when you go out into the world, you explore the universe, you travel, you socialize, you work, you do all these things, and then you come home. But to your dog, you are the universe. To your dog, you are the world. To your dog, you are what matters. And I'm also hearing that it's not to make you feel guilty for living your life. Live your best life. Because the energy of the dog is coming through, and they're saying, we understand, and we're with you even when you're away. That's why we can sense you coming home. We're with you. We're always with you. That consciousness is with you. But they're so excited to see you because that physical presence is so joyful. They love that physical presence, but they're always with you. And even in passing, even in the leaving, they're always with you. It's very, what's happening right now, it's very interesting. I'm just seeing, for me, all the dogs that have ever passed in my life. So if you're watching this reading, and God help you if you are, because this is very emotional for me, tune into the energy of all the animals that you have loved, because they are still there and they are still loving you. What I'm hearing is we've crossed a threshold, we've crossed that barrier, but we're still here. You might not be able to see our physical presence, but we know that you can feel us. And so we've crossed that threshold, but we are still here. So it's a reminder that we are still here. And what it's time to let go of is the guilt and the shame and the blame and the grief. Keep allowing yourself, it's Dylan Thomas, I think, is who wrote, "Do not stand at my grave and weep, for I am not there. I do not sleep." And that's what I'm being reminded of. That's what they're showing me, that poem. And it's like, allow yourself to feel the emotions that you need to feel, but let it pass through you. Let it move through you and come back to that place of peace. Once the grief comes out of you, and what I'm just feeling it is coming, rising from the root chakra and up and being expressed through my voice now. I'm allowing myself to feel that grief and vocalize that grief and express that grief. And once it's released, you come back to that peace and you come back to that love. You come back to that understanding that that love is ever present and always true, that love is always there, that love is never gone. And that's the loyalty of the dog spirit that they're bringing through, that love is ever present and always there and never gone. And their consciousness that was your dog or was your pet is always there and never gone. So allow yourself to not only believe in yourself from that sense that we speak of all the time, but believe, have that faith, have that knowing, that love that you shared between you two is always there, is always anchored in. So I'm going to use the Wise Dog Tarot and just see what else wants to come through. Holy crap. I really just wanted to process some of these emotions, and whew, boy, oh boy. The Ten of Pentacles. That's that physical nature. And this is kind of what I was seeing. You see how there's all these dogs in the picture? It's like every animal that you have ever loved is still there, is still surrounding you. And what a blessing it is to love an animal. And what a blessing it is for that animal to love you in return. I always say one of my biggest dreams is to have some land so that I can properly have like an animal sanctuary. Properly take care of animals, especially dogs. And that's what I'm seeing. It's just like every animal you've ever loved just kind of surrounding you. It's not gone. They're not gone. And they're reminding you of that. And the Empress, where there is death, there is life. The Empress is the feminine energy of life. She gives birth to new ideas, birth to new beliefs, birth to new life. She's physically the mother, metaphorically and physically the mother energy. And that's what this feels like. This feels like where there is passing, where there is loss, where there is death, there is also life. And that is the cycle that we go through in life. So I feel like this is for anyone who has ever lost a pet or lost a dog or lost an animal. And the High Priestess, yeah. Tune in to the higher realms. Tune into your higher senses. Attune to your higher senses so that you recognize that what you feel is just physical. What you feel, you just see as evidence or data in your physical world. There's so much more. Not only does the love and the memory always stay with you, but they are in consciousness, in spirit, always surrounding you and always there. When Riley passed, it was a really peaceful, sad, devastating, but it was also a peaceful experience because I was with him and I was with the vet in the vet's office, and they have a beautiful like little room set up, and I brought his bed and his blanket. No, I brought his blanket, and they gave him a bed to lay on, a dog bed to lay on, and I just spent some time with him, and then when it was time, he just went to sleep, but I could sense his energy. I could sense his spirit leaving his body, and he was just the body. And that night, I dreamed of him. And he was running, and he was playing. And for a couple of weeks afterwards, he was always around. And I would sense him, not just in the house. Although the house felt like there had been this massive loss of him. It felt very different. I still have Moxie. I still had Moxie. And my other dog. And we were both grieving. We could both sense there was this absence of him, this physical absence, this physical lack there. But I could also sense his presence. And it's not just that the love and the memories you always carry with you, but that consciousness is still there. Consciousness is an energy, and consciousness transcends space and time. Consciousness transcends the physical structure of things. And that's what they're asking you to tap into your intuitive nature, tap into the intuitive knowing that where there is death, there's also life. It's the life of the spirit, the eternal life of the spirit. It transcends the physical, the Ten of Pentacles, that physical, that physical home within the earth structure. We know this physical earth as home. We transcend that, and we give birth to eternal life. And that's what they're asking us to tap into. And you can do this for anybody that you have lost as well, because it's just consciousness, it's just energy. It's a little bit easier with animals, they're saying, because of the innocence of animals. Animals don't carry forth that karma. Animals will sometimes take on your karma to heal that. Animals have amazing transmutation qualities, but they don't carry that karma. They're not on the karmic wheel like humans are. Animals truly are a gift to us. And so it's allowing ourselves to understand that love and that presence. It's not just in memory that it's always with us, but it is quite literally always with us. They are always with us. Anything else we need to know? The Fool and the Ace of Cups. The Fool is just giving me this energy of we'll see each other again. You'll see each other again in spirit form and physical form. They're reminding me of the movie that I would not bring myself to watch. It's a movie of the dog that kept reincarnating. And I can't bring myself to watch it because I watched Marley and Me as the last dog movie I ever watched, and I can't do it. Hachi, Marley and Me, Homeward Bound, like Old Yeller, those wrecked me as a kid. One of my favorite books when I was growing up, when I was in like elementary school, was Where the Red Fern Grows. And if you guys have ever seen that book or watched that, or I think it might be a movie too, but if you've ever read that book, you know what I'm talking about. That book wrecked me as a kid. But all those movies as well. And this movie came out, and I can't remember what it is right now, but I can't bring myself to watch it. I would be an absolute wreck, like I am now. I would be an absolute wreck. But it's this dog that keeps reincarnating and coming back to its previous owner as a new dog, because the lifespan of dogs, unfortunately, is much lower than that of humans. One of the great tragedies of life, I feel. But it also teaches us. They teach us to let go. They teach us the cycle of life. They teach us through that to focus on what is precious and to not let what is precious go by. To remember to take advantage of each precious moment as we have them. That is what it is to love an animal. To remember how precious life is in every single moment, and not to let life pass you by. And I feel like the Fool and the Ace of Cups here is showing us just how much love there is, and again, how it transcends the earthly plane. It transcends time and space. There's new beginnings. There's a new beginning for your pet, an eternal beginning for your pet in spirit form. Again, running and playing and joy, and if your animal was sick, then full health. And not only that, but they're here. They're here. They're still here. Maybe in reincarnation. Maybe coming back around again. But just in the energy of pure love. Pure love still here. Pure love always never going anywhere. Love doesn't transform in the sense that it disappears. Love can only grow, can't disappear. It can change, it can move, but love is expansive, and that's what they're reminding us of. All right, I hope that helped you guys as much as it helped me. I really apologize for being so freaking emotional during this. Thank you for holding space for me. I am sending you all so much love and sending your animals so much love as well.